And
Good rebound by Ella.
Yeah. Wirralur have got a really good strong centre court press. Elliston are able to get around it just fine.
Oh, nice hands, Cassie. Oh, that was good play.
I think she was hanging on by her toes there.
Yeah, I think so.
I reckon one of the funniest or strangest times we had was when the abalone farm started up here. That was Kay's family that or Kay's brother that started that, and his sons, and and they employed a lot of people. Anyway, one of the criteria was if you worked for the abalone farm as a diver or whatever, general lackey, you had to play or be involved in the sport, whether it be football or netball, so that was the only time we ever had anyone at training. I remember once the best we ever had, we had about 60 at training, and it was probably getting near the finals, and we had reasonable sides then. But so anyone and everyone would be at footy training, and we had a few netballers out of them too, and they only played because they had to. That was the criteria. You had to play and train, so they had to go to training.
So they had no idea what a football looked like.
And some of the girls that trained, they were not very good netballers, but they turned up, and they probably, because of that, they probably had a good time, and actually met some of the locals. So it was good for them and good for the town.
Probably our best time in the community because it was made a lot of people be around.
Well, I do know that Kenny Bascom was the coach that year, male coach, Kenny Bascom.
So very quickly, what did you tell me about 94 then, Kenny?
94, I'd been coaching the netball for 3 years.
I gather.
And so started in 91, I guess. 2, 3, 4, yep. And we had been battling as a netball team, and then obviously with the footballers that I'd hired came wives, and one of them was a very good player.
Who was that?
Steph Phelps.
Yep.
And we cribbed up, made the finals in 93, and then 94 we managed to crack it, which was our first grand final
for the club, really.
For the club. First A-grade grand final we'd ever won in football or netball.
And what was Kenny like as a coach, Keza?
It was good.
Yeah, it was excellent actually. Very loud voice.
How many did you win the grand final by?
It was a close one. I think that was the closest game we had all year. We only won by 2 goals.
See this here, you can just sit there.
Yes, well that would be good. So we might say that again. Do you want me to say?
There you go.
So the team of the first 95 grand final, Keza, who was in it?
Would have been Steph Phelps, Annie Williams, Vicky Hitchcock, Josie Phillips, Jodie Moore, Inga and Karen Hall were emergencies.
Yes, the girls
won first, or did we?
No,
we won in 90.
The girls won. Yeah, and then the boys won. Oh, the boys win 95, and then you won 94.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thinking we might have the dates.
2000, both the netball and the football.
I don't know. We've never won together. We've been in a few grand finals
We've always
together.
taken it turns.
Yes, and one year the girls won and the boys lost. Yeah, so you're right, Kerry. 94.
And then
girls,
95 for the boys, and then we did it again in 96, didn't we?
Yes.
I can remember in my first
One that I know, 1 or 2 maybe.
first few seasons, we used to get belted. Oh,
Literally.
you know, they'd get 70, 80 goals against us, and we'd have about, 10, 20 at the most. But we still went out there and played and come back off and still had fun. And
Yes.
So how did you manage to do that, Kenny?
Well, sport, in my mind, sport is sport. If you can play one sport, there's similar tactics and whatever, and I always played tennis, which is individual, but each position on a netball court's individual, and then you carry that through, and yeah.
Yeah, so it was about...
And it was about, realistically...
a winning mindset, I guess.
Yeah, it was that, and yeah, I think some of our players had never really been coached, in my mind, correctly. They'd been told to play, like we had a really tall girl, close to 6 foot, and they were doing bounce passes, which is just ridiculous. And you change that, you change wing attacks are expected to get the ball each time. Why is that when they got 2 on them? You change that so that everybody has a go at getting the ball at centre break. Yeah, it was just a normal look at a game and try and improve on it each time you do it.
Because obviously you'd never played netball.
Yeah, but I've always liked it. I've always enjoyed netball. I think it's, for me, it's far better than basketball, but anyway. Yeah, I just took the tactics from playing footy and being undersized, playing, you know, centre half back, full back, and having to work out how to beat people, and you take that to netball and
Well, you do it
teach
by
people
reading
how to do
the play, obviously, don't you?
Yeah. I didn't do any background, you know, study or anything. It was just sport in my book.
Whose idea was it to coach, yours or the
No,
club's?
I was asked because the girls, if one of the girls coaches, the other girls get at them where, you know, I want to play this position or I want to do this or that, and for me they couldn't get at me because I walk away and go farming or whatever I do, and they couldn't like coerce me. So we had a lot of fun, but also a lot of coffees at the bakery. Me and the girls, or the girls and I.
A little bit different to footy, probably.
Oh, it was totally different. With the boys, you get drunk,
Yeah.
you know, after the match, but with the girls, you'd go and have a rehash on Monday and see where you went wrong and talk about it, take notes, do dot dashes for goal shooting and mistakes and whatever, and where you can change something a little bit, because you know the teams that you're going to play in the finals. It becomes obvious after a couple of years of coaching who you're going to play,
I think so.
and you better work out how to beat the teams you're going to play, not the teams you can already beat. That's easy.
But you didn't just do it once, they won again in '96.
But I didn't coach. I'd done what I wanted to do, which was coach the netball and win a grand final. And
But obviously they
they
took
followed
what you
on.
taught 'em
No, the girls that I had coached had learnt how to win, and the ones that were getting bounce passes, for instance, that stopped, and they just followed on the same format, similar anyway. And we had a really good side, and so did the other sides, you know.
We were just saying that Kenny was the coach. What was he like, Di, as a coach?
I thought he was very good. He was pretty bombastic and he'd always bring you together and talk to you pretty well. And he had his ideas of what to do as a coach. And I think most of the time he took notice of what he was saying.
Yeah, he had a knack of getting your attention if he didn't like what you were doing.
Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I think Kenny would have been a good coach.
He was good. He seemed to be able to read the play. He sort of got us. He would pick out a pair of us and tell us what he wanted us to do. Like it was, once upon a time, we'd just throw the ball up and down the court.
And play.
He started to make
Set plays.
set plays.
Just quickly, who were the good players in that team?
I consider every one of them as really important, because if you don't win your position or at least hold your position, then you lose the game. So for me, the important ones are you got to score goals. If you don't score goals, then you lose. So, and if you don't stop goals and get rebounds, you lose. And if your passes are bad from the middle, you lose. So you better have a whole court game or you lose. So, and over 3 years, we developed a pretty slick operation in my book.
Did you bring them up from juniors or they were
No.
the
They were all A
existing senior
grades except for one. We had the same team as had previously played. Just especially one girl, teaching Kerry Williams how to shoot within her range and being confident to have a go. And
Yeah.
And he sort of decided that because I was tall that I should be holding and stepping back. That was the first time I'd ever been allowed to do that, really. because I know Bonnie was different. She used to want you running out in front and doing all of that, but
We played teams that were really strong. We had, at that time we had Lee Hunt and the Streaky Bay League, and then they amalgamated and the two top teams amalgamated. And so we had to play them, which was, you know, a really powerful outfit. And we had to work out how to beat them. So,
And just quickly, how did you beat them?
well, they had one girl that was huge and aggressive and would be all over you like the girl shooting. So we worked out a tactic to stand the girl that wasn't shooting to stand in her face and block her from getting at the girl that was shooting.
holding players that seemed to come in around about Kenny's time.
Right, interesting. Because I think in the 96 grand final, that was a key to us winning. I think Kerry holding, you and Karen playing together, I thought that was a key component of us winning that grand final.
Yeah, and that was, you know, thanks to Kenny teaching us those skills.
Yes.
And that was one of the main things. Then the centres had a little technique where they would put the ball one side of their body or the other side of their body, bum or front, and wherever the ball was, that girl better try extra hard to get the ball, because that was where it was going. And that was the first time that we had tried, no, not that game, but we had been perfecting that technique for the 2 years and nobody picked up on it. And consequently, the girls that weren't getting the ball could relax until the girl got the ball, and then it was on. But getting the ball out of centre is one of the big things. Another thing that was happening constantly was breaking at the centre throw. If you go before the whistle starts, you get the ball taken off you. Well, that was happening constantly, and I just think that's like a double fault, you know.
So like a rugby league sort of mistake.
Yeah, it's just terrible mistake to break. It's a terrible mistake. And when you do a toss-up, you know, where the two girls, you do a toss-up, we would lose them all the time. But they weren't being practiced, so we practiced them, and then we got to the stage we were winning them. And if we weren't winning them, we were putting it up in the air and we were getting it. Second chance we were getting it. So, and they're the 1%ers that make you win a grand final. And it took us 3 years to get it right. And we were probably lucky. Steph Phelps at the end of it became, the last quarter of hers was unbelievable. And realistically, that was the key to winning the grand final.
And she was a shooter?
No, she was a goal defence, which is important because you play right down the court.
Where every goal they save is a goal.
Yeah. Well, it was that and the intercepts and the you know, passing the ball in. But it was exciting, and we drank a bottle of Zambuca.
Because girls party just as hard as the fellas?
They partied very hard, and I loved it.
Particularly this is the club's first A-grade premiership.
Yeah, it was exciting.
She was probably related to Tom Phelps.
Wife. Yeah, he was my manager.
Yeah. I was going to say that you had something to do with bringing him to the club.
Yeah, well, I had everything to do with bringing him to the club. The only reason he came was to manage my farm. And he bought Steph, obviously, and she was just as important in the netball as Tom was in the football.
I think that's where the netball actually suddenly realised that they could win games, honestly.
I think
before that,
yeah,
I think we played it as a social thing, and
well, maybe Kenny gave you that belief.
I think he did.
The
I think,
enthusiasm and the
Yeah, and thinking you can actually do it.
yeah, he gave us that confidence, and you know, I got to that stage where I was really quite confident. You know, I could just tell myself to shoot that goal.
Yeah, you
For
were.
some reason, he would find the ring, but you know, before that, you'd just throw it and hope that it went in.
Maybe we need you to come back this year, Keza. We need a goal shooter.
Yeah, it did get easier. Like, it took a long time because, hang, what would have I been? Well, I was old.
Well, you
My
weren't
first
old.
A-grade premiership at took me that long to get it, yeah.
Yes, well, there's been 5 altogether.
How much did you win that grand final by?
Shit, I don't know. Not much. I forget. I went to have a look before, but the photo's taken down.
Yeah.
I think 3 goals.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much.
Not much.
No.
Yeah.
It was a hard game.
Yeah.
It was a hard game.
Yeah. Of course, it's not a non-contact sport, is it?
No, it's not No, it's not non-contact.
Have you ever played mixed netball?
Just footballers playing the netballers. They're not rough.
It's amazing how the girls who have been playing for a long time, how their elbows seem to be just in your way
Hips.
so often. You seem to run into it.
Yeah, they block the space.
Yeah. They're really good at it, aren't
Yeah, they block the space.
they? Yeah, and actually I was watching it today and there's lots of little things going on that are really subtle actually.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you don't see it. And the umpire, like, I know because I coached and I study the netball. Yeah, there's a lot of subtle things that are happening, and I would really like to coach the girls those subtle things. They're not picking them up and they're not doing it. But anyway, I'm not. So that's the end of it.
Oh, but you've done good. Thanks very much.
No worries. Thank you.
Real pleasure.
Oh, well
Beautiful
fed in,
pass.
Jazz. Yeah.
Really nice pass. Beautiful work, Ella.
Yes.
And back up, Tash. I think she just hurdled that one and hoped for the best.
Well, it worked.
You did. Beautiful
Yeah.
pass, Cassie.
Very good.
Nice one.
Good play.